This is part of the February release that is now available for pre-order. Today we're going to be focusing on using the Confetti Popper Stencil. And I'm going to do something a little special. So I've already colored in my little panda dude. It's so cute with his little froggy hat. And I've got my everything that I need to create my card. So to start off, I'm going to put this little black shadow layer that I cut to go behind my image on my little panda and on my sentiment, which the sentiment is so stinking cute as well. And I'm just gonna, I gotta use my little tweezers to hold it so I can get the glue on there without getting my fingers stuck in everything. But this set is part of the February release, like I said. There's the Panda set that's available. There is the Happy Birthday paper pad, which is super bright and cheerful. There's the Confetti Popper Stencil, and they all coordinate together. So to do for what we're doing with this stencil is I wet my paper down just a little bit. It's just so it's kind of damp. And I'm going to run it through my die cutter to press the stencil image into the paper. And then so it's got kind of an embossed area just from the stencil. But then I'm going to use it as a stencil. So I line it back up again on my little sticky mat, and I've picked out some reds, blues, and greens that match the paper that I'm using. So I go in with that. And that is my little twist, is how to use the stencil as to emboss your paper to coordinate with, everything else. But it gives it just a little bit more texture, which is cool. So you get these embossed areas that you can then stencil, so they're, not just embossed and raised up, but they're also got some color to them, which I love, that little extra something. It really adds to the card. So I'm just going to finish up here with my green. Make sure I've got all the little confettis colored in. And you could do, fill in with, pastes or glitter or anything. I'm just using the ink pads that I have and going back over and making sure everything's filled in. But it's just another way to get a little bit more out of your stencils. And I use the Spellbinders Platinum 6, and I will put my sandwich layers in the description box below, along with the COPIC colors that I use to color my little panda dude. But there it is. So it's got the embossed texture as well as the stenciled colors. So now I'm just kind of auditioning my papers to see which colors I want to go with. And I was going to go with the lime green, and then when I flipped it over, I realized it's got these little swirlies on the back, which I love. I love the bright, bold colors in this set, as well as the designs and everything that are on them. You could use them for so many things. I think the polka dots and the little swirlies are my favorites, but this paper pad is full of awesome images. They're double-sided papers. They're super thick. They're slick. I don't know how to describe it. It's not the slimy slick papers, but they're the good papers that I just love. So I'm picking out my papers and my matting layers. I mat everything with a real thin border. So I'm just cutting, and I pulled in some solid papers that just coordinated with everything else, which is basically just a red and a blue. And I get those all layered up. And then I'm going to actually bring in some craft foam to pop up my little panda dude. And here I'm just going to put my layers together, make sure that my card's going the right way. And I do a dry run of how my layout's going to be to make sure that I'm pleased with how it's all going to look. And I like that. I think it's cool. And once the little panda is popped up, it's going to look amazing. So here's my craft foam, and I use that because it's a lot cheaper than foam adhesive or adhesive foam. I buy it on Amazon. It's just craft foam. That's all it is. But it's thick. It's 3 millimeters. So it gives me a good lift on my images. And I don't feel bad if I've got little scraps that I throw away, because it wasn't that much. But throwing away some of that adhesive tape, I just stick all the pieces on a sheet to save for later. I don't. Those are precious commodities. I don't want to get rid of those. So I love how my stencil paper turned out, the confetti. It just is something different. It just gives it that little something extra. So a great way to use those stencils that you get from Crafty Stamp Co., either with your kit or that you can order with each monthly release. There's always some amazing ones, but it's so fun to be able to emboss them as well. And you could not stencil them and just emboss them and just have that kind of monochromatic texture available. So I have my little smusher here, and I just want to make sure that my glue is dispersed on the back. So I use the little press to get everything smoothed out so I don't get those little glue worms where the glue dries. You ever get those little glue worms? They're like the little tunnel, the tunneling worms under your paper. So I just push everything, smush it all out so it makes it all go. And I like using liquid adhesive because it gives me some time to move things around if I need to move it just a little bit. So we're getting the last pieces put down. Again, just loving that stenciled embossed piece that I did. So fun. And these colors, they're just happy. They could be masculine, feminine, little boy, little girl. And so here I am taking some extra just sheets of regular cardstock and putting them on the back, because that layer with the stripes is 2 papers tall. I'm just going to add some papers on the back so that there's not a dip in my image there, because it is on the top of my card, and I want to make sure that everything lays flat, and so it doesn't really pop it up, it just levels it out, so it's the same level as the striped paper layer that's down there. There's my little guy. Get him popped up on the foam. He's so stinking cute. That little froggy hat, love it. He was so fun to color. And get this little sentiment put on there, which I love. The sentiments from Crafty Stamp Co. are so fun. Some of them are silly, but they always go well with the stamp sets that they come with. And I love this one. I love how this card came together. And there we go. So just another way to use your stencil. Thanks for joining me. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time.